Welcome to Realty Reels, your go-to Aussie channel for property insights and market trends. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get closer to your real estate.
Australia's property market won't slow down. Here's why prices keep rising in 2025. Have you noticed how Australia's property market just refuses to listen to the pessimists? Every time someone confidently says, prices have to fall, the market seems to tap them on the shoulder and say, not so fast. Well, the latest November house price report is out, and once again it tells a very clear story. Australia's housing market isn't slowing down. In fact, in some cities, it's running hotter than ever. Welcome back to Realty Reels, where we cut through the headlines and talk about what's actually happening in Australian real estate. Today, we're breaking down the latest data from the My Housing Market November report, and more importantly, what it means for you if you're a homeowner, a buyer, or an investor heading into 2025 and beyond. Because when prices keep rising despite higher rates, affordability pressure, and cost of living challenges, you've got to ask what's really driving this market. The market's momentum is stronger than most people think. Let's start with the headline number. National home prices have now risen for 9 months in a row, with a solid 1.3% increase in November alone. Now, that might not sound dramatic at first until you step back and look at the bigger picture. 9 consecutive months of growth tells us one thing very clearly. Demand is still outweighing supply across most of the country. And this is happening despite higher interest rates, tighter borrowing conditions, and ongoing affordability pressures. So if you've been waiting for a major pullback that just hasn't arrived, you're not alone. Not all cities are moving the same way. Here's where it gets really interesting because averages never tell the full story. Some capital cities are seeing exceptionally strong growth, with price rises in certain markets pushing close to 20%. Brisbane and Perth in particular are standing out, and not just for houses. Unit markets, which often lag behind during tight cycles, are now posting double-digit growth in these cities. That's a big shift, and it's a reminder that affordability pressures are pushing buyers to adapt, not exit. And then there's Melbourne, the quiet comeback story of 2025. After a few underwhelming years, Melbourne's market is slowly regaining traction, with buyer confidence starting to return. So the takeaway here? Australia doesn't have one housing market. It has many, and some are clearly outperforming others. Why the spring market matters? One reason November's result looks slightly softer than October but still very strong comes down to how the data is measured. The My Housing Market report uses a rolling quarterly data set, which gives a more reliable picture of what's really happening underneath the headlines. For November, that quarterly window captures September, October, and November, the heart of the spring selling season. And let's be honest, spring is when buyer competition really heats up. The previous month's data included August, which was solid but not as strong as September. So while the month-to-month growth eased slightly, the underlying trend is still firmly positive. In simple terms, momentum hasn't disappeared. It's just stabilizing at a very high level. What this means for 2025 and beyond, according to leading housing economist Dr. Andrew Wilson, 2025 is shaping up to deliver stronger growth than both 2023 and 2024. That's a big call, and it's based on fundamentals. We're still dealing with tight housing supply, strong population growth, and buyers who've adjusted to higher rates rather than stepping away. For homeowners, this reinforces the importance of holding quality assets in strong locations. For investors, it highlights why timing the market is less important than understanding which markets are moving and why. And for buyers still waiting on the sidelines, the risk isn't just higher prices, it's missing opportunities in markets that are quietly moving ahead. So here's the bottom line. Australia's property market isn't defying logic, it's responding to supply, demand, and human behavior. Prices have risen for 9 straight months. Some cities are surging ahead, and the momentum heading into 2025 remains strong. If you want to make smarter property decisions, focus less on the noise and more on the data. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more real estate insights from Realty Reels. I'll see you in the next one.